Li was born in China.
Do you think he insists that people say ping?
Bing, bing, bing. Looking back now,
You just said you weren't going to do
I'm
it.
not doing a Chinese accent. I refuse to do a Chinese accent. Hello, Matt Cox.
Hello, Tom Simon.
It is so good to be back with you.
It's great to be here.
Yes, I don't know if this will be our last episode this year, but it's been a hell of a year for us.
Yeah, it is. That's true.
I think this might be episode 13 that I've been on with you.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I counted them up. And I think each episode is damn near 2 hours at least. And so we have created over 24 hours of solid gold content together.
It's a lot of cocks. How do you feel?
Right? I get exhausted with that many cops. Anyway, so I have 12 stories for you today.
Nice.
12 true crime stories ripped from the headlines of the FBI. At least one of them I investigated, and the others are other agents' cases. And here's the game, and I'm explaining this even though I know your fans know how this works. I'm going to tell you the story of the crime as much as I know about it. You can pepper me with as many questions, which I will answer. And then I want you to tell me, what is the sentence that this guy got in prison? And if you are within a 20% variance of the actual sentence, you win a point. Young Colby will be our scorekeeper. If you get greater than 50% of the available points correct, you are a winner on your own show.
Nice.
If not,
Seems easy enough.
you get evicted from this beautiful studio.
All right.
Should we jump right into it?
Absolutely.
Okay. First story is a case that I worked. I was a case agent on it. It's my only case that has its own Wikipedia entry. Operation Crooked Code.
How come we haven't heard this one before? We got its own Wikipedia entry. We should have done this one.
It is. Do you know many Romanians?
Romanians. I do know a Romanian. I feel like he was a part of the Romanian mob, and his name was Killian. He kidnapped someone for his boss who owed his boss money, and he taped him to a very much, by the way, like the James Bond thing. They taped him to a chair and cut out the bottom of it, and he was
beat him in the
naked.
nuts?
No, he said you take a like a cattle prod.
Oh, they shocked his nuts?
Yeah, I guess they shocked him because he
Poor
and
bastard.
yeah, and I told him, I said, bro, what if he doesn't pay? And he goes, they always pay. And I go, what do you mean they always pay? I said, this is the first time you did this, right? He goes, yeah, it's the first time.
Right. This case involves Romanians, but I came to actually really like Romanians as a people. You know, again, you hate stereotyping. I'm sure there's good and bad people in Romania. But the Romanian dudes are super dapper, always well-groomed, always beautifully dressed. And Romanian women are very glamorous, the ones that I met. Most of these people are not in Romania, right? The ones that I'm dealing with are in Chicago.
Right.
And so
Do you think they were like that in Romania?
I have no idea. I remember maybe these are the ones who got out. And but they're very kind of, I'm not gonna say flashy, but just well put together and like just really, really handsome and beautiful people, like visually. Even if some of them had some moral issues, some ethical problems. So in Chicago, we were having an issue, and the issue was that the city building inspectors departments were crooked. They were taking bribes, and we had lots of intel about that from the inspector generals for the city of Chicago, and so the inspector generals for the city of Chicago and the U.S. Postal Inspection Service began kind of investigating corruption together, without me and without the FBI, in the city of Chicago building inspectors department. And they began developing some informants within the Romanian building community. Romanians are very good tradesmen, and they found a house that had been, and just a lot of rumors about builders paying bribes and inspectors taking bribes. And there was a common denominator, what they were finding. There are people out there in Chicago, at least, who have a job called expediter. Do you know what an expediter is?
Is that someone that you pay to make sure something gets done much quicker than it probably would on its own?
Yeah. In the most pure world, an expediter would be the person who stands in line at the city building department to get you a building permit.
Oh, that wasn't what I thought of.
But also when it's time, as you're building a house from scratch, let's say, Inspections need to happen along the way. For instance, before you put the drywall up, the electrical inspector needs to come and take a look at the electricity, the wiring behind the walls, to give it a thumbs up and say this passes this phase of the electrical inspection. Same thing with plumbing, right? You can't have the plumbing inspector come when the drywall's up and the toilet's sitting there. You need to be able to take a look at the pipes, make sure they're slanted in the right direction so gravity's working for you to get the waste out and the good water in. It's really very involved. And so there was an expediter named Benny. And so Benny, Romanian immigrant, very good-looking guy, very nice, evangelical Christian. And
is all the good-looking and dabber, is all this going to come into play at some point? Or are you just mentioning it?
I'm painting.
You're just impressed.
I'm painting a picture. For
Okay.
You. I'm painting a picture for you, and so the idea was that Benny. We had intel that Benny was soliciting. Was the one. If you wanted to make sure you passed your plumbing inspection and had it done fast, because time is money when you have a building loan. You call Benny, and he gets the plumbing inspector there, and you're going to make sure you pass, whether that plumbing's good or not. And,
okay, nice.
And so
Benny sounds like the guy to know.
Benny is a good guy to know. But so when we were thinking about perhaps going up on a wiretap to try to build cases against crooked building inspectors and crooked builders paying and receiving bribes, it would not make sense for us to go up on a wiretap on a crooked building inspector, right? Because we're just going to catch one guy. It also, by the same token, didn't make sense for us to go up on a Romanian builder or any builder because, again, we're just going to catch one guy. But what if we went on a wiretap on the expediter, the guy who's in the middle of a lot of transactions for a lot of builders and a lot of bribes being paid to building inspectors? That's exactly what we did. We went on a wiretap on Benny and began listening to his calls. And we had this 3-agency team of postal inspectors, FBI agents, and City of Chicago Inspector General. The Inspector General guys, we put them on the streets with their cameras to take pictures of meetings between the building inspectors and Benny and the builders and Benny when we would hear that a bribe is going to be handed off. And so we had all of us in the wiretap room, and then we're dispatching, listening to Benny live, and then we're dispatching people. We kept the wire up. We renewed the wire until Christmas time because Benny was creating Benny was going to be giving envelopes full of cash to the building inspectors that he was seeking to kind of buy their favor for the next year. Because it wasn't always a one-to-one thing. He would, pay the building inspectors with these kind of envelopes full of cash, and then they were beholden to him. Right. So they were available whenever he needed it. And so we found just so much stuff going on with Benny. And so by the time we actually were ready to take it down, there was one transaction that stood out to me. It was bad plumbing in a building. It was all backwards. We had an inspector that was helping us out go and take a look at it and say, the plumbing here is all backwards. The plumbing that's underneath the ground, underneath the floorboards and behind the walls needs to be slanted in a certain way. So when you flush the toilet, it kind of, it goes out to the sewage system. Right. This was all like backward. They were slanted the wrong way. The poor bastard who was going to buy this house was going to have plumbing problems forever. There's no way this would have passed inspection, but the Romanian builder needed it to. So the Romanian builder contacted Benny, and Benny took $7,000 and handed it off as a bribe to a plumbing inspector named Mario. So of all the transactions we had and all the kind of buzz about, envelopes being handed out in cash, this was a perfect situation for us to make the centerpiece of the criminal charges against Benny and this plumbing inspector whose name was Mario. So we take it down. We arrest a ton of people, all these building inspectors. We arrest Benny. Well, we arrested Benny the day before. I was there when we arrested Benny. Benny was a muscle man, worked out every day. We showed up to the gym when he was getting out of it. And Benny, you're under arrest. He puts his hands up. He comes in. And the idea was this. I was going to be handling the interrogation of Benny, and me and a partner. We arrested Benny before we arrested anyone else because we wanted to flip him and begin cooperating and start paying bribes to city building inspectors that we could do a better job of capturing on tape.
Right.
Benny had a wife and kids. He had everything to lose, a very successful business. And so, and the way we did it was this. We bring Benny into a room. I sit him down. I said, Benny, I want to talk to you, but and I want you to say a word. I have not Mirandized him yet. I want you to listen to some things. I hit play on the tape recorder that I had set up. And it basically played him 30 minutes of Benny's greatest hits from our wiretap. Taking a bribe, paying a bribe, agreeing to take a bribe. Some of the conversations are in Romanian. I have no idea what they're saying. We had Romanian translators here.
She knew it was bad.
It was all bad. And Benny's sitting there just looking very deflated. And I said, Benny, listen, now at this point, I want to talk to you about what's going on here, and we want to solicit your help. My hope is that you can go home tonight and spend the night with your family, and we would love for you to work with us, not against us. We want you on the government bus, not under the government bus. I said, you have the right to remain silent. Go through it all. He looks at me and goes, I'd like my attorney. Benny was not interested in cooperating. He had he was not going to testify against anyone. He wasn't going to set anyone up. And so we take Benny to jail that night. And then the next morning at like 4 a.m, we go out and we just arrest everyone else, all the building. Because we were hoping we could kick that down the road and have Benny make some better cases for us. But we had good cases. So we arrested, let me get you some numbers, 21 people, 15 of them were city employees. Okay, so a sizable takedown,
right?
And hopefully, if for some window of time, change the culture of bribery in the city of Chicago building inspectors. Different people got different amounts of time based on what they did, versus how much money they did, versus what favors they did, etc. But I want to ask you about Benny and Mario. Benny pleads guilty to conspiracy, sort of a 371 conspiracy charge, and he pleads guilty to the very specific bribe, the $7,000 bribe he paid Mario. Refused to cooperate, refused to do anything, was just going to take his lumps like a man, did not want to, he had this honor system in his mind that he wasn't going to cooperate against anyone. Mario
didn't feel that way.
Mario didn't cooperate. Mario had 17 years in as a city employee. I didn't think that Mario really cared much about going to prison or not. Mario did not want to lose his sweet, sweet government pension.
Yeah.
Right? So Mario goes to trial and loses, right? Benny did not cooperate against anyone. Benny pleads guilty, doesn't say a word to anyone, never cooperates, never is interviewed, and takes his lumps like a man.
Okay.
So you got 2 defendants here. Mario, who accepted a $7,000 bribe with allegations of other ones on the tape that were not observed or kind of monitored, and goes to trial and loses as a city employee. Benny, who expedited many, many bribes, but pled guilty to this one and then a conspiracy to have done others, says nothing and pleads guilty. What sentences are you going to give Mario, the building inspector, and Benny, the expediter? No criminal history on either man.
Is there a dollar loss associated with either
one of them? Not a loss. It's a weird kind of case, right? Because it's a bribery to do a corrupt act of government. So the bribe was $7,000, but I don't believe the sentencing guidelines, it doesn't really matter if the bribe is $7,000 or $70,000. Perhaps the judge would take that into consideration, but I don't think it's not like a fraud guidelines where you just plug in the dollar amount and spit something out. This falls under a different guidelines range for acts of corruption and bribery.
So the guy that goes to trial, I think gets 48 months.
48 months.
48 months.
And how much were you going to give Benny the expediter?
Benny the expediter, I think he probably gets 3 years, 36, 48 and 36.
Okay. 48 and 36. All right, so let's do this. Move this along. Mario, the building inspector, you said 48 months.
Yes.
He was sentenced to 41 months. So you are within a 20% variance. Okay. Benny, the expediter, you said 36 months. He was sentenced to 24 months. So you are
I'm not
within 20% variance there.
Okay.
Yeah. And then everyone involved with the case accused me of writing the Wikipedia entry.
Really?
And putting it up there. And I said, I did not, because my name is not in the Wikipedia entry.
Aww.
And had I written it up, I would not be able to resist the idea of taking credit for this case.
Of course. I would have been. And then, although as handsome as these Romanians were, then there was Tom Simon.
Yeah.
The FBI agent.
Exactly. I just remember all these Romanians that I met in this case and how incredibly dashing they were. They really were. I would have changed looks with all of them. Yeah. So that's Operation Crooked Code, and you are 1 and 1. I know people have said things about you, Matt Cox.
What does that mean?
Well, I'm getting there.
Okay.
And I'm sure you've heard about the kind of the urban or among criminals, the no snitching ethos.
Oh,
No snitching,
wow.
man. No snitching.
Low blow.
I'm not saying low blow, but I've heard you criticized for being a snitch and stuff like that. And listen, my whole career relied on people doing the right thing and cooperating with the government. So in my mind, you're a hero.
That's not going to help.
Yeah, right. But I know that in certain communities, there's a real no snitching ethos that people take to heart, and it's a source of pride. We talked about this Romanian guy, Benny. I'd never heard him describe it in those terms, but he was clearly living by that ethos. And I guess I just want to hear your thoughts about that. And is it a real thing, or is it mostly people paying lip service until they actually have skin in the game?
I mean, mostly people cooperate. Like most of the time, they all. What was it? The SIS officer at Coleman said. I remember one time I said to him that I said, "Listen, man," I said, "you scream snitch on this fucking compound." I said, "Half the compound turns around." He goes, "Psh." He goes, "More than that," like that. And he said the difference is though. He said 100% of them are lying about it.
Yeah.
And he's like, and because I'd come out on the front page of the newspaper that I'd cooperated, so they're talking about shipping me somewhere.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, I would say just based on there was actually a study done by the federal sentencing guidelines on cooperation. It's actually a list of who like the charges and how they cooperate. It's like, and it's outrageous. And the big thing is a lot of people cooperate and they don't get the cooperation.
Right.
So like maybe it might be 95% of drug dealers cooperate, but only 87% get cooperation.
Get the third off the low end of the guidelines, or whatever the deal is that they're being given for cooperating.
Like they gave them information, but the information didn't pan out.
Yeah.
And so, but for inmate perspective, those guys would still say, well, you still tried, you cooperated. But I would say that it's something like 80, 90% cooperate, but 100% of everybody's lying about it. Very few people don't cooperate.
Yeah, I think this Benny fellow was unique in that regard, where he could have really helped himself and his family, and he chose not to. And I've also had cases that I've told on the show of like a Chicago mobster who didn't want to cooperate against other mobsters. He would rather just take the hit for the crime because he's worried about the safety of his family or his own future in the community and stuff like that. But I know I dealt with that a lot as an agent on the street in some communities where you would talk to somebody and they didn't want to talk to me, and then it's just a coaxing job to get them to cooperate. And
Right.
I could break almost everybody just it's in a very logical, reasonable conversation about how this thing's going to turn out anyway.
Most of the people that I knew that didn't cooperate were, it's funny you say that, reasonable, were irrational.
Yes.
Right? Like they try and do the whole, oh, my family. It's like, well, wait a minute, you're an accountant.
Yeah.
Like nobody was going to kill your family, or
Right.
Nobody. And it was always, usually it was because maybe they thought they could win at trial, or they thought they had some reason that wasn't the real reason why they didn't cooperate. And then they just leaned. Then they were able, while they were in prison, they kind of rested on, yeah, man.
You know who's really embraced the no snitching ethos?
Who?
Every moron commenter on every video I have where I tell the story about someone cooperating, and it's like, he's a snitch. I can't believe that guy snitched. Or if I tell a story about someone who refused to. I've told this Benny story before on my social media. And I was like, good, Benny, don't be a snitch. Don't cooperate. No snitching. I'm like, all right, tough guy in your mom's basement.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's easy to say until you're there. Yeah. You got your lawyer saying, look, we got a plea right now on the table for 20 years. And you're like, I think you should take it. What? Or you can cooperate. You can be out in 5.
Once you have some skin in the game, your perspective may change. Well, let's see how this one played out within the no snitching ethos. This case takes place in Sumter County, Georgia. A local church called the police and said, weird things. A lot of the people who go to our church, who live in our little community within the a mile or so of the church, have been getting their checks stolen from their mailboxes. And we're kind of concerned. We don't think anyone's targeting our church, but we sort of have the corner on the market in this community in Sumter County, Georgia, because it's that mail theft. The police loop in the U.S. Postal Inspection Service, right? Their mail theft's their jam. And they also bring in the FBI because we tend to work very well with each other, postal inspectors and FBI. And they begin compiling information about the people in the neighborhood. And then they begin taking a look at the checks themselves. What happened to these stolen checks that were mailed from the government or whomever to these people?
There were still cash somewhere.
Yeah, for sure. And they're not even cash. They were deposited into the bank accounts of 14 different people. just totally different people. You know, you can sign in the back of a check, then that check becomes a negotiable instrument. So they're forging the name of the person on the check and then doing it below. If you have an app, you don't even need to forge it anymore. You just take the picture. So 14 different people are fraudulently endorsing the backs of these stolen checks and depositing them in their own accounts. And then it's time to go talk to the fraudulent depositors. How many do you think actually stood firm with their no snitching ethos?
I feel like none of them would
Zero.
because they didn't get into this to end up in jail.
Zero, exactly. And they all had the same story, that they were recruited to negotiate these checks off of Facebook by a guy named Roscoe. And Roscoe called me. Roscoe hit me up on Facebook and said I could make some money if I just deposit these checks, keep some of the money, and then give him the rest into my bank account.
The guy named Roscoe in Georgia?
Yeah, yeah, and I know you're shocked. The depositors were each given a couple $100 by Roscoe for depositing the stolen checks, withdrawing the money, and giving the balance to Roscoe. Who's Roscoe, right? There's a mystery to be solved here. They begin analyzing the phone records because these people are getting text messages, and it comes right back to a guy, 26-year-old Jalen Hill of Americus, Georgia, nearby. He was able to rip off $166,000 in checks in the scheme before he was arrested by the feds, and I believe the Sumter County Police Sheriff's Department were involved. Each one of the 14 check depositors pled guilty to bank fraud, but each of them got probation because of their willingness to cooperate against Jalen Hill. They did not live by the no snitching rule. They lived by the self-preservation, stay out of prison, be with my family rule. And when push came to shove, they did the right thing and cooperated with the government, just like my hero, Matt Cox.
What did Roscoe, or what's whoever's real name was?
Jalen, a.k.a. Roscoe, the ringleader, was hit with bank fraud and identity theft charges, which is also key.
Yeah.
Which gave him a prison sentence of, finish the sentence, Matt
Did
Cox.
he, well, I mean, he has to do, he pled guilty. He has to do 2 years for the aggravated identity theft. Adds 2 years.
I'm going to assume also that he had a criminal history of some kind. I don't have that specific information, but
what was the
$166,000 in stolen checks? Let's say at least 14 stolen checks laundered through the poor people on Facebook who had an ability to make a couple $100. Now he didn't get the whole $166,000 because he needed to pay a commission to the depositors.
Right. I don't know. I hate to say 60 months. 60 months. Let's go 60 months.
60 months is your guess.
Yeah.
Okay, which is what, 5 years?
Yeah. So I'm thinking 4 years plus the 2. So it's 60, right?
Yeah. Well, that'd be the math.
Okay. Yes.
And you think that because the dollar amount, the criminal history,
Just because
the number of
you said
people.
criminal history.
Yeah,
so
no, I think he definitely has a criminal history.
yeah, because that's going to jack it up. Because for 160, because you can steal 160,000 in the federal system and barely get any time at all.
Yeah.
You can get a few months.
But the identity theft also ratchets
which
it
adds
up,
2 years. So he's doing at least. That's why I said he's doing at least 24 months.
Okay.
So that's why I'm thinking that the 160 criminal history is a couple years.
Yeah.
So probably. Maybe I go 50. I'm going to go. Wait a minute. Let me think about this.
Okay, here we go. We're amending this. We're
gonna
revising. I love it when you do this because it always turns out so well for you.
54 months.
Now we're at 54 months. It went down from 60. You're giving him a discount. You're letting him out 6 months early in the United States of Matthew Cox.
54 months. Let's go 54.
Do you feel bad because they had people snitching on him?
No.
They violated the code, so you're giving him a discount?
I think 50. Well, because I was still thinking, okay. I was thinking you could probably get 3 months if he had no criminal history and there wasn't aggravated identity theft. And I thought, well, let's say he's got a criminal record and he bumps it up. It's not going to bump. It's still pretty low. I was thinking it'd probably bump him up from 0 or 3 months to probably maybe 2 years. So I'm thinking we don't know how many. He's obviously got a more lengthy criminal history. So let's go ahead and go 2.5 years plus the 2 years. So we're looking at.
You've lost me with your math logic.
54 months. 54
now we're
months.
at 54
That's
months.
4.5 years.
We're at 60. We're now at 54.
Yes, 54. That's 4.5 years.
Is that your final answer?
Absolutely.
Okay. The correct answer was 80 months.
Fuck, I was no good. I wasn't even fucking close
6
either way.
years, 8 months in federal prison.
I wasn't close either way.
Jalen Hill, who got snitched on.
Boy, you think
he spent the whole time in prison bitching about the snitches?
I'm positive he did.
I wonder if he got locked up with any of them. No, because they all got probation.
No, they have probation.
Yeah. They try to keep people away. Like if someone testifies against someone else, they try to separate them.
As soon as you go in, that you go to the different departments, right? Like medical sees you have any problems. Like,
Yeah.
no. And then you say, do you have this? And one of the departments, they come in and they say, which is SIS, and they'll come in and they'll say, have you cooperated against anyone in your case? And if you say, yes, I did, they go, what's his name? And tell them the name. And they look him up and they go, he's on the compound. We can't let you on the compound. Or they'll give you, if he's not, even if he's not on the compound, that you're going, so you're going to the pin, they'll say, okay, and they'll do what's called a separatese, so that it follows you wherever you go. If you say, hey, I want to go to Miami, they'll be like, okay, yeah, I'll put you in for Miami. And they'll be like, oh, no, I guess you've got a separatese against this guy, Michael Johnston. He's in Miami.
Okay, related question. Do co-conspirators get to serve time together if they don't have a problem with it and they're not a threat to one another?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they can.
Yeah,
I knew multiple guys that were on each other's cases.
Okay.
As long as there's no separatese.
Yeah. Interesting. I would think that you'd want to separate them more than anyone, right? 'Cause, I mean, they conspire to commit a crime together. The last thing you want to do is just lock them up together with nothing to do but come up with bright ideas.
Yeah. You know where we went wrong last time.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Next time you drive. Yeah. All right. So, you ever been to Belize? You know anything about Belize?
It's supposed to be very pretty.
I've been to Belize.
Oh, nice. How was it?
I didn't like it.
No.
Here's my problem with Belize. I went. There's a Belize. They have an island that's part of Belize, and here's my problem with Belize. Food was fine, people were fine, sunshine was fine, the beaches were nice, but the first 50 yards from the edge of the water to the water itself had thick, long seaweed everywhere. I could not find a beach that you could actually like go into the water on without like just kind of like being among this like gross seaweed.
That's it?
I didn't like it. You're spending a fortune on a family vacation. You go to Belize, maybe you want to get in the water.
I mean, you could probably just, yeah, that's true.
No, I mean, we had a boat
Can't they
take us
rake
out.
it? Can't they rake it or something? But they don't.
Was it like a specific time of year, you think?
It was Christmas.
Was it slime? That slimy? Was it the thick
No,
seaweed?
this isn't
or
just
the
the shit that
slimy
washes
one?
on shore.
Okay.
It was like in the ground, planted under the water for like probably 50 yards going out from the shore. So it wasn't like you could rake it up or something like
Right.
that. You would need a bulldozer, I guess, to uproot it.
Yeah,
And
we got to do
so-
something about that.
Yeah, thumbs down, Belize. Come at me in the comments. This story is about a guy named Mark Romeo, and he also, which is a fake name, he also used the name Andy Storm.
Come on.
I know. It was like a
These
romance
are-
novel.
Yeah, I was just thinking that these are romance
his
novels.
real name was Audrey's Pukey.
Well, no wonder.
Yeah.
No
yeah,
wonder.
Exactly. If my name was Pukey, I'd probably use a fake name also. So Andy, Mr. Pukey, Andy Storm, sold investments in a vacation and retirement community in Belize that he was going to be developing. It was called Sanctuary Belize. Isn't that nice?
Yeah, he's quite the wordsmith.
Yeah, he did a lot of marketing for it online. He took in, brace yourself, $100 million from hundreds of victims who bought lots sight unseen on this island paradise.
Wow.
$100 million because he's going to develop Belize and build this amazing community. None of the investors knew that Andy had a prior fraud conviction back in the year 2003 relating to a scam called Ameridebt, which is another reason why he dumped the Pukey name and became Mark Romeo and Andy Storm. Capiche?
Yes.
Okay. So they say a zebra never changes his stripes, and neither did Andy. The entire Sanctuary Belize concept was nonsense. It was all smoke and mirrors. He didn't even own the land to develop. It was just an idea that existed solely between his ears. I guess at some point, though, he had some plot of land that he didn't own, that he was involved in developing. It was half-assed, saddled in debt. And so he steals $10 million from investor deposits from this $100 million to build his own waterfront home. And so, but he doesn't even build it in Belize. He builds it in the Bahamas.
Okay.
So he takes $10 million off the top to build a house in the Bahamas for himself.
This is eventually that he's not realizing at some point this whole thing falls apart and it doesn't really matter if you have your own
Hey,
compound.
spoiler alert, Matt. That's why we're telling the story. he becomes a target of an FBI investigation when Sanctuary believes was never constructed. And he says, oh, FBI, no, you don't get it. This whole thing's legit. And he goes and he begins cooking up fake documents to present to the FBI to convince them that he's innocent. This whole thing's a misunderstanding and that it's all going to get built. Yeah, so he's creating fake documents to buy himself time, which earned him an obstruction of justice charge on top of the fraud charge. Andy took the case to trial. Yeah. And
that seems reckless.
Right. And so he was sentenced to 8 years in federal prison. He had to forfeit his $10 million in assets, and he has a restitution bill hanging over his head in the amount of $120 million, which is also the guidelines number. How much time do you think you're going to give Mr. Pukey, also known as Andy Storm, also known as Mark Romeo?
I'm going to go with 8 years.
8 years? Well, tell me why you think 8 years.
Because you just told me 8 years. You said he did 8 years. You were reading off the thing, and you just
said, motherfucker, did I?
And Colby and I looked at each other like, did he just say 8 years?
Did I?
You said he was
had sentenced to 8 years in prison. Oh, fuck me. I usually try to cross that out on my sheet.
See, I wouldn't have even seen it. You just said it.
I know. I'm so sorry.
No,
no,
that's a win.
Yeah.
That's a win.
What would you have said? I'm so sorry. I go through my scripts and I edit out the sentencing and I moved it down here 8 years, but I forgot to cross it out in my text.
Because of his prior charge, I probably would have said more than 8 years.
Yeah,
$10 million.
It seems low.
What did you say?
100 million is the loss. 120 million is the loss.
Oh, the loss was one. Oh, okay. I went
10
blank.
million, 10 million is how much they were able to recover from what he shaved with the.
He got a bargain at 8 years.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Somebody must have been helping him.
Went to trial.
Well, he went to trial. He couldn't even cooperated. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. What an idiot. Yeah. No way. I would have never come close to that.
Right. Well, I'm
Thank
sorry
God.
to urinate all over the game here.
Yeah, no, I'm
Good.
okay. I'm
It's
good with
It's
that.
good for engagement. The comments, I had the camera on Matt. He's
God.
looking over here, so it'll be good.
I'm sorry, audience.
I should have done a whole,
A thing, yeah.
I don't know, let me think about this. I think.
I need to put my brain in gear and turn my mouth off. So I noticed when I walked in here that you had a little poster up regarding The Wolf of Wall Street. Mm-hmm. You like that movie?
I thought it was too long. But yeah, I liked it. I just think it was a little too long. The drug stuff was too much. It was, but yeah. It was a
You
good
ever
movie.
interviewed Jordan Belfort? He seems like he'd be a perfect guest for your show. All right, is it sore subject?
Very upsetting. I've tried multiple times. I at one point I was supposed to be interviewed by him on his show, and then but just when I was flying out to California to be interviewed by 3 different podcasts. Mm-hmm. He was one of them.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, what time do I be there? What's the address? And I was corresponding with his assistant, which I think was his girlfriend, and then she just ghosted me. And then I've reached out to him other times. I've tried to contact him. I even made little paintings of him and mailed the paintings.
Where's my painting?
I mean,
I come here every month. I don't have a painting.
no response.
Huh, that's weird. Wait till he's trying to sell something, I guess. Then he'll, there's a new book or whatever.
Well, and he went on Vlad, which bothers me. You went on. I think what happens is if you were to try to say, hey, I'll pay you. I think at this point he's not doing anything probably without money.
Until he has something to promote, probably.
Oh yeah, probably.
Right.
We did interview his wife.
Oh, we did interview the Duchess of
the one who was played by the pretty blonde lady in the movie.
Yeah, we interviewed the real whatever.
Duchess of Bay Ridge, I think.
Bay Ridge, yeah, the real one. So
That's kind of neat.
It did okay, right?
Yeah, it's
250,
over
300.
Yeah. I mean, it's over 100 at least.
Oh, okay. I thought it was.
I mean, at least.
Would she have gotten paid for the movie for having someone play her part? I guess no, you don't get a piece of that action. Huh?
As a matter of fact, when he called her, which I'm sure she probably thinks is a mistake now, when he called her to explain, hey, I'm writing a book, or no, they're doing a movie, whatever it was, he said, do you mind if they use your real name? And she said, I want you to change my name. So they changed it subtly.
Yeah.
It's like Naomi is one, and the other one is Nadine.
Yeah.
I don't know which one's which.
Subtly.
But it's
But-
over
but-
200,000.
everybody.
Right. But then she's written a book. She's a psychiatrist of some kind or a
Yeah.
counselor.
Yeah.
She's wrote a book, and now she's going around on all the podcasts promoting, using that promotion. So that's what I'm saying. I'm sure she now realizes I should have just eventually I was going to jump on the bandwagon. I should have just gone and let him use my name. But yeah.
Well, you may or may not ever get the Wolf of Wall Street on your show, but if you play your cards right and time it correctly, you could get the Wolf of West Virginia on your show. His name is Teddy Miller. He's 34 years old. And he portrayed himself on social media as a multi-million-dollar real estate mogul who was taking West Virginia by storm. He gave himself the nickname, the Wolf of West Virginia. Evidently forgetting how that movie ended.
As a fraudster, he was
offering high-yield investments in real estate, in a real estate fund where he was going to be rehabbing and developing residential properties in West Virginia. And he was guaranteeing people risk-free returns, Matt Cox.
Fraud.
With returns as high as 20% and a turnaround time of 60 days. You give me $100,000, I can turn that around and make it into $120,000 in 2 months. Because I'm the Wolf of West Virginia.
Ponzi scheme.
Yeah. It seems so credible because he had this social media. He was an influencer, right? With him flying on private planes and living a life of leisure.
With your deposits.
Yeah. He's a muscular guy with a beard and all that. 100 investors from all over the country invested money with Teddy to get a piece of this program because they wanted to be associated with the Wolf of West Virginia and his investment program.
What was his name again? His real name?
Teddy Miller.
Teddy Miller. Do you have a picture of Teddy Miller?
Let's see.
He looks kind of like that Blazarian fellow.
Really?
Like that kind of type, with like sort of the mountain man beard, but kind of chiseled, good looks.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks.
Am I right?
He looks more like.
Who do you compare him to?
Yeah. You can't see him because he's so far away, but he looks like more like.
You got the Dolce and Gabbana going around the.
More foo-foo than
Fancy
Dan
himself,
Bazillion, whatever. Like Dolce Gabbana, like a New Jersey.
Right.
So guy.
He forgot to tell his investors that his social media persona was complete nonsense. That slipped his mind. He was living month to month with poor credit and defaulting on loans, delinquent on taxes. Things were not actually going very well for him personally. He never even owned the buildings that he was purporting to renovate and flip. Never even owned them. But he uses the money that's coming in from the investors to kind of prop up the illusion of a luxurious lifestyle, something we've talked about before when it comes to these social media influencers who are committing fraud to create that illusion, kind of fake it till you make it. He couldn't pay people back. Happens. Calls in the FBI. And during the investigation, he was caught destroying evidence. And so he was also indicted for...
how did they get onto him?
The investors... I've worked hundreds of these type of cases. When the investors aren't getting paid back, they get upset and call the FBI.
Right. None of them just say, okay, got me.
Well, I guess they'll just net this against my income. No, they call my phone. My phone starts ringing. Had they called me, when it was actually happening, we could have done more. But no one calls me until this whole thing collapses and Teddy stops returning their calls. Here's a wrinkle in why we have two defendants. Teddy's mom, Deanna Drum, age 61. She handled the day-to-day the back office of the business, and she was, and it was proven beyond a reasonable doubt that she was in on it as far as kind of moving the money around and aiding and abetting the sale of unregistered securities. She's working the back office. Teddy's the face of the operation. Teddy's enjoying the money, but his mom is a mechanic in the background, kind of pulling the strings, keeping track of stuff. Emailing people on his behalf, things like that. Okay. The loss amount, though, for all, I guess West Virginia real estate's not worth as much as Manhattan real estate. It was only $400,000.
Oh.
But spread over about 100 different people, right? So he was taking small dollar investments from people for the most part, which I think is why he was able to draw in so many people. And, and 400,000 goes a long way in West Virginia.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have, and both plead guilty. Teddy, the face of the business, the guy who's holding this investment program. He's the Wolf of West Virginia, after all. And then his mom, Deanna, age 61. I'm sure she's a kindly looking old lady in the back room, moving the money, handling the money, sending out emails, kind of doing the back office operation. Both plead guilty. Her charge was aiding and abetting the sale and offer of unregistered securities. Okay, very kind of technical thing. He probably pled guilty to the same thing in addition to fraud. Oh no, I'm sorry. He got obstruction of justice and fraud. What time you give? How much time you giving the wolf? How much time you giving his mommy?
I think mom gets. I'm going to say mom gets, let's say 18 months, and he gets 3 years.
Okay, so 18 months and 36 months.
Yes.
Okay. You want to think about that? You want to talk it out?
No, I don't. This is the worst part. I'd rather you just say you're wrong and move on.
All right, well, it's your show.
Than toy with me.
Okay, fine. You're wrong. You want to do the next one, or you want to know the numbers?
How bad is it?
It's really bad.
It's only $400,000. Oh, it's the 100 victims
and obstruction of justice.
Yeah, that's
which
why
I told you twice. So my conscience is clear. He got 84 months.
Oh my God! You're telling
and
me that
100 victims and mass marketing, because there's an enhancement for that, using the internet to sell this shit, and obstruction of justice. 84 months. The wolf's inside.
He must have had a criminal record. He.
I don't know, because guess what? Mom got 48 months for being the back office lady and selling unregistered securities in a conspiracy case. The judge was not playing games with Mr. and Mrs. Wolf.
Yeah, maybe it's
All right.
West Virginia. Maybe they're just really harsh down there.
Okay. So we covered a bunch of fraud stories, financial crimes, which I know is your bailiwick, notwithstanding the fact that you're doing really poorly.
What am I at now?
2 of 6. 2 of 6.
2 of 6?
And one of them I accidentally handed to you on a silver platter.
You were 2 of 4, and now you're 2 of 6. Because 2 of...
I don't like the two people stories because it makes me sound.
I know you're
even
a lone
worse.
wolf yourself with your crimes, but sometimes people get involved in criminal conspiracies. So cry me a river, because we have at least one more where there's 2 of them. All right, so we're kind of done. I think we're done with the financial crimes, for better or worse. And now we're going to get into kind of more other types of crimes. And then we're going to get really weird and depraved toward the end of the episode. Okay, so
nice.
Stay with us if you're into weird and depraved. All right, so you ever do time with anyone who is involved in trying to steal money from an automatic teller machine?
Damn. I was going to say before you, I was going to jump in with yes, because feel like I've been locked up with every single
flavor.
But the answer is no. However, I have interviewed people that have robbed those, like the ATMs.
The machines themselves, or the people refilling them?
Well, both. Actually, I've done time with a guy that robbed someone who was refilling. Okay. So he was refilling, and he robs that guy. And then I've done time with a guy who was actually worked for the company, was removing, he would collect the money and restock the machines. And then I also interviewed a guy who was robbing the ATMs.
Like cracking them open somehow and trying to get the cartridge.
Yeah. And this
you can see the allure of that crime versus robbing a bank. I mean, maybe you want to rob a bank and you want the money that's in the bank, but you're not really crazy about terrorizing a poor teller and sticking a gun in her face.
Yeah, the customers.
Or risking a security guard who happens to be in the bank, or a cop in line behind you. So I see the allure of a ATM burglary, and that's the story I want to tell you right now.
How would you do it?
How would I do it?
That's what we need to know.
The problem, though, is that if you're going to burglarize an ATM, you're still on the hook for basically a bank theft, right? You're stealing from a bank, which makes things federal as opposed to taking money from the vault at the local liquor store, for example. So we have 53-year-old Abdurrahim Jalal in DeKalb County, Georgia. He really wanted to get into the Bank of America ATM at the DeKalb Mall. It was like his focus, this was going to be his Mount Everest that he needed to conquer. And so Jalal built a bomb, and he brought it to the ATM at 3 a.m. I imagine he lights the fuse, runs behind a tree, plugs his ears. That's how Wile E. Coyote would have done it. But he set off the bomb and blew up the ATM. Blew it to smithereens.
Oh, okay.
It worked. He blows up the machine, and he's able to go to the vault, take out a cartridge, maybe 2 cartridges. I don't know how it all works. With $90,000.
How? I don't understand. $90,000 each one of them, or just total?
He was able to get $90,000 from the ATM that he had exploded with a bomb. at 3 a.m.
So this is are you telling me that there is a Middle Easterner that was able to figure out how to make a bomb?
Are you sitting down, Matt? Are you sitting down, Matt? Yeah, I'm sure that didn't help. Keep that in mind when we talk about the sentencing. So, he's got all this money now. What's the guy going to do? He goes on a gambling spree in a North Carolina casino. And so the investigators are eventually able to track Jalal down through cell phone, actually cell phone tracking, and it was mostly cell phone tracking. And and so they do a search warrant of his house, because that's what we do, right? You go in, you can't just take the word. His cell phone puts him at the location. That's
Right.
enough to get probable cause, probably not enough to convict him. So you do the search warrant of his house. Do you find any bomb-making materials there, like wicks, things like that?
Wicks? Why do you keep saying?
I don't know. I picture Wile E.
you feel like
Coyote
it's a
lighting a
wick?
wick and running, I don't know. I've never built a bomb. And they hit the jackpot. The FBI did the search warrant of his house, and they find 8 fully assembled or near completed pipe bombs at the search. Right? So the evidence is starting to get better, Matt Cox.
Yeah.
Right? And so ATF was involved with this as well, and he gets arrested, and they seize and they find some of the money, the leftover money. They recover.
It's getting worse and worse for him.
Yeah. And the explosive devices he made at home, also evidence. He pleads guilty. How much time are you going to give Abdurrahim Jalal of DeKalb County, Georgia?
I feel like he gets 20 years. He can't be blowing shit up. What? And
If it was a crowbar, he'd get less?
yeah, don't you think?
I don't
think
know.
definitely he would get less. You're blowing stuff up. That's a big deal. That's like it's like the difference between having he robbed the place with a gun and robbing the place with a gun that has the serial number scratched off and a silencer. It's like, whoa. Or one's a handgun and one is a fully automatic machine gun. It's like, one's a lot more dangerous.
The overkill of it all. Yeah.
The bomb, to me, it's like, that's
Serious business.
Super serious. I would think there's got to be a mandatory minimum or something, right?
It's not my expertise. I was a fraud guy, but I'm with you. I think my guess is that he probably pled guilty to both the bank larceny and some sort of use of a weapon of mass destruction type of charge. I'm guessing. I don't have that information. I wish I did.
I knew a guy that burned down a warehouse and got 15 years because they don't find arson funny at all.
Yeah.
It was insurance fraud, but what got him at the time was
you
the burning the
You could
warehouse.
kill a firefighter.
Yeah, you could kill that.
Or a neighbor or whatever.
Yeah, I was going to say, that could set up a chain of...
spark, look at the Chicago fire.
Right.
Mrs. O'Leary's cow kicks over a lamp. Next thing you know, the whole city's in ashes.
Or I was going to say, what's the thing up in California that just
They
happened?
call it the California wildfires.
Yeah,
right?
No. I was thinking that they burnt that whole neighborhood down. The whole area burned down. What I forget.
Talking like Palisades,
Palace,
something.
whatever. Yeah, that whole place, right?
Yeah.
That's somebody probably, I don't know who ended up starting it, but whatever.
Right.
I mean,
So
it's horrible. I can see him sitting at the defense table too. Your Honor, we're asking for probation. I don't know.
you think his ethnicity may have played into
Your Honor.
the judge's decision?
I need to pray. That little prayer thing.
I know. It bums you out when people can't overcome their own stereotypes sometimes.
I mean, I'm going to say 20 years, which I'm sure I'm wrong.
You think you're overshooting or undershooting?
I think I'm probably, I feel like overshooting. Maybe am I overshooting? But I feel like 20 years seems, that's probably, I think that's reasonable. Why? What, do you get 30? Is 30 is that it?
I'm just curious what you're going to stick with 20?
I'm going to say 20.
All right.
I mean, but 30 wouldn't shock me.
Okay, so 30 wouldn't shock you, but 20 is your guess.
Oh, well, yeah. See, I have no idea, but I assume it's high. I assume you're higher than what.
Me?
Yeah.
You think 22?
I think 22 is high, but I don't really know.
No one was hurt.
Oh, stop. So now it's too high?
I'm not saying that. I'm giving you context because I don't feel like you're committed to your 20-year guess. I feel like you're dipping your toe in the 20-year water and you want to continue talking this out.
The toying with me is so, it's not right.
It's a ratings grabber.
I think 20 years. That's what I think.
All right, man. Well, I tried to help. Correct answer, 12 years.
12 years. That's it for blowing some shit up.
Yeah, it was a crime. It was a money crime, not a
It
political crime.
It wasn't a money crime. He's
He was
doing pipe bombs.
He was doing it to steal the money. He wasn't having a jihad against an ATM.
I don't think you get to blow things up or set things on fire. I think there's some things that are like, hey, that's...
You know me, my man. I'm a hanging judge. Right? But I call it like it is. 12 years, you lose.
Tom's like, listen, Matt, it's up to me. You'd still be in prison.
Right? Nothing. This would be the Tom Simon show. Colby would be my humble assistant. What do you know about UC Berkeley? University of California, Berkeley. What do you know about it? What's your instinct? Like if we're doing a word association, what would you say about it there?
Liberals.
Yes.
Why? Okay.
Yeah.
Blue-haired liberals. Why?
No, you're right. It's a hotbed of left-wing activism.
Okay.
Right? That's kind of where I'm going with this because I like to do at least one culture war story so people fight in the comments and it brings your numbers up. I don't really care.
Nice.
I don't have a dog in the fight of the culture war, but what's weird about UC Berkeley, I've never been there, but my understanding is that it's so part of the left-wing kind of activism is so part of the culture there that it doesn't even limit itself to the college students. Like the entire town of people who aren't even like taking political science classes at Berkeley or whatever are kind of like hip deep in like the left-wing activism. And that's exactly what it was like for 34-year-old Casey Goonan. He's Goonan. He wasn't even a student at UC Berkeley. I guess he was occasionally. He took some classes here and there. But just a grown guy, like a grown man who's like really into kind of like fighting the power, right? That was his jam. And the way he did it mostly was he wrote zines. You know what a zine is?
No.
It's short for magazine, but it's like if I was gonna like do my left wing screed, I would like write up the magazine like this and fold it in half and then try to sell it on the streets for like $1 a piece so people can like see what I'm all about, see what
I hate this
fighting
guy.
the man. I know. Yeah, these people are the most annoying liberals in the world. Anyway, so he used to write these Marxist screeds and try to sell them on the streets. But he was so fed up with doing this. And what he really wanted to do was spark a student revolution where he would get these college kids to kind of rise up in mass against the man and fight the power once and for all. Right?
Yeah.
But the problem with college kids today, I don't know if you have much interaction with kids that age, is that they're not super motivated to do lots of stuff like that. Like they like a sit-in, they like a protest, they may like a concert, they may like a drum circle. But the idea of standing up and like fighting to defeat the man, for most of them, is a hard pill to swallow because they're very filled with anxiety, right? They can't even like go out and like rent a car without taking like a pile of Lexapro and Zoloft. And so, but Casey had an idea, Casey Goonan, on how to inspire them. And so what he does, he gets up early in the morning and he makes 3 Molotov cocktails.
Early in the morning, 10 o'clock, 10 a.m.
No, like before. And so he drives to the U.S. courthouse in Oakland with 3 Molotov cocktails that he had fashioned himself. These are the bottles filled with gasoline with the rag, and you know what it is. And so he begins throwing rocks at the courthouse to break a window to throw a Molotov cocktail through. Here's the problem.
Those windows really don't break.
Well,
aren't they kind of?
And my guess is Casey wasn't much of an athlete growing up. so I don't know that he was really good at throwing much of anything. His dad probably didn't take him outside for a catch as a kid, which is probably part of the problem. And so he keeps throwing these rocks at the courthouse and missing like by a country mile. Eventually, the security guards at the courthouse come out and say, "Get the fuck away from here!" And Casey like scurries off.
Casey.
But
he does the windmill.
He's frustrated, right? Because he never played Little League as a kid. He never really learned how to throw very well. And so he puts the Molotov cocktails in a planter, like adjacent to the building, and he lights them on fire and runs away. They do like no damage whatsoever. Like the side of the planter got like scalded.
Still.
Not good. But he's discouraged, Matt Cox, but he's not broken, right? He's going to somehow spark a revolution. And so he's walking down the street back to his car where he has 6 more Molotov cocktails like waiting in the car. And what does he see sitting there? A University of California Police Department patrol car just parked there on the street with no one looking at it, no one around, not even a cop inside. It's just parallel parked there, kind of near his car. And so what he does is he takes his 6 Molotov cocktails, he places them under the fuel tank, he lights it on fire, gets in his car and drives away. And in the rearview mirror, he sees the Molotov cocktails ignite the fuel tank, and the entire police car goes up in flames like a mushroom cloud, right? He's finally struck it out at the man, just like he planned, right? So
And that's when California broke off and became its own country?
Yeah.
No.
The problem is it was just one burnt-up cop car in a world with lots of cop cars.
Not the revolution he
Lots of functioning ones, yeah. And so he's a little disappointed that this did not like spark the revolution and the people didn't take to the streets. Exactly. So he hops on social media and he writes a post explaining what he did and why he did it.
Of course.
He said that the firebombing was done in retaliation against the police and the university to spark a student intifada, he called it. And he ended his post with "Death to America." But you know what he did, Matt Cox? He spelled America with 3 Ks.
Okay.
And he also said "Glory to the martyrs." Right? So this is a guy who...
He's hitting all the boxes, right?
He's checking the boxes, yeah. And but with all of his planning, it failed to create the student uprising he wanted to. And then he realizes, oh my God, I forgot to cover up the license plates on my car. And they began looking around who was driving around at like 4 a.m. around the neighborhood there. And they get his license plates, and they see like pictures of him on other cameras running around like a fool, lighting fires and trying to throw rocks through the courthouse window. So the police, the ATF, and the FBI, they execute a search warrant at his house, just like they did for Jalal, the ATM bomber, and they gather all the evidence they need to show that he was making Molotov cocktails there. They place him under arrest. He actually was interrogated by the FBI. A good FBI interrogator did. And he confessed to the FBI interrogator and said that his intention was to create a Gen Z uprising. He pleads guilty to federal arson charges with a terrorism sentencing enhancement. You can't charge him with terrorism because there's no such crime as domestic terrorism, but you can have a sentencing enhancement for terrorism on top of an arson charge. And so the judge needs to sentence him. Keep in mind, he was doing it for, in his mind, all the right reasons.
I feel like the judge is going to take that into consideration. I think they did take it into consideration. Therefore, he got the terrorist enhancement.
How much time are you going to give Casey Goonan?
I mean, I feel like 10 years. It's going to bother me that you're going to say way less than 10 years. But
10 years?
I think
the terrorism enhancement? This is a federal arson charge. I'm just throwing it out there at you.
12 years?
Well, this isn't an auction, pal. I need you to make a decision. This ain't eBay.
Or in the last one, I was way too high. But this does have an enhancement. But the other guy got away with $90,000. But he was just robbing banks.
His intention was to overthrow the...
He's a jackass.
He wanted the proletariat to rise up and take control of the means of production. I think you're failing to understand.
It's always worked so well.
Yeah, his aspirations. I mean, it's coming from a good place.
He's an idiot. I feel like you get a discount for being an idiot.
Casey Goonan is a revolutionary.
I'll go with 12 years.
You haven't read his zines. Some beautiful, right?
His zines. The fact that you say that anything is called a zine.
It's apostrophe Z-I-N-E.
What's 12 years? That seems reasonable. 10 years seems he's an idiot. He is lighting stuff on fire, which I think is a bit. 15 years. You can't be lighting shit on fire. 15 years.
We're up to 15 now?
15.
Man, if we keep talking, you're going to give him a life sentence.
15 now. 15's the most. I know the guy.
It's the Matt Cox escalator.
15, the guy, but he got the enhanced. 15. That's good.
15 years?
Did he plead guilty? He didn't go to trial.
No, he pled guilty. He
Okay.
pled guilty, yeah, that's for sure.
Well, see, now I want to give him a discount. Now I want to go back to 12. 15.
Which is it? I'm hearing lots of numbers from you. Like sounds like an auction house.
12 years. He did plead 15. 15.
Which is, I'm not laughing at you to force you to move one way or another. I'm laughing at you because you're having a nervous breakdown.
How bad? I'm really losing bad here. I can't even make this up. I can't even come back at this
I
point.
think you need to treat every story as its own little coin flip.
13 years.
We're up to 13 now. Oh, you're splitting the difference. You're splitting the
difference. Yes, let's split the difference.
Let's say 13 and a half?
13.
13.
Yes.
Okay. Final answer, Matt Cox?
Yes.
Okay. The correct answer is 235 months, which is 19 years, 7 months.
Wow. Even if I said 15, I wasn't even close.
Yeah, I think you missed it.
Yeah.
I think you missed it.
Yeah. What a jackass.
Yeah, Casey Goonan failed miserably to
At
seize
life.
the means of production.
Oh God. What a jerk off.
You ever watch the show The Walking Dead?
Oh, I love The Walking Dead.
Yeah. You remember the Asian guy in that, Steve?
I
Ewan?
loved him. I was so disappointed when he got killed.
Yeah.
He got killed.
He was my
Did you
favorite
know
character.
that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
my favorite character. Yeah. Were you ever into the early music of Kid Rock?
I love Kid Rock.
Do you remember his little hype man?
Oh yeah, the little guy, the little I forget his name. He would sing
Joe C.
Yeah.
Remember Joe C? What do Joe C. and Walking Dead actor Steve Ewan have in common?
I don't know. Steve Ewan's way taller than him. I don't
It's
know
not height.
what.
Joe C. Joe C. died. Whatever.
Oh yeah, no, he had a like a terminal disease of kind. That's part of the reason he was so short. He was such a short.
Yeah,
guy.
yeah. I thought I thought he actually was a great hype man and added a lot to Kid Rock shows. Joe C. and Walking Dead actor Steve Ewan are both from the town of Taylor, Michigan,
Oh.
a suburb of Detroit with a population of 63,000. Can you imagine that one town produced two luminaries like that? It's amazing. The town had a mayor named Rick Solars, and it didn't take long before Mayor Rick was accepting bribes. We just did an episode.
For what?
We're getting there. We're getting there. We just did an episode before, sponsored by our friends at Home Title Lock, discussing different kind of real estate fraud scams involving fraudulent titles. This one could have actually probably been in that. The city had title to 95 plots of land that had been foreclosed upon because they didn't pay property taxes, right? Most of them were probably vacant plots of land. And Mayor Rick had the authority to turn those properties over to a real estate developer of his choice in order to do whatever he could. It was his job to kind of maximize the value of those foreclosed properties. Mayor Rick had control of that. Okay.
Right.
And so what he does is he gives all those plots of land to a real estate developer named Shadi Awad. I think spelled like shady. We'll call him Shady. Shady Awad. Perfectly legal under city rules to give it to him. The problem is that Shady was also providing Mayor Rick with bribes at the same time in the form of home renovations, cash, money for gambling, and appliances. He had a smart refrigerator. Mayor Rick did.
Probably the only one in the town, huh?
Yeah. He also was given a gift of a stove, I guess that's an appliance, and a cigar humidor. What's a cigar humidor? It's like a box that you keep cigars in to keep them fresh?
Keeps them nice. And,
Yeah, there you go. You a cigar guy?
No.
Yeah, me neither.
I have smoked a cigar before.
Yeah.
Once.
All right, well, look at you.
Puked my guts out. Just puked like you can't believe.
It's one way to get that monkey off your back. Yeah.
I'll never listen for years. If I even smelled cigar smoke, I feel sick to my stomach.
Yeah. So it was like an all-you-can-eat buffet for Mayor Rick, right? Shadi is just showering him with gifts and appliances and stuff in exchange for these like 95 plots of land. FBI catches wind of it, right? These are all kind of public records. Like probably some citizen do-gooder was looking at this and saying, like, why are we all giving it to Shady? FBI does a search warrant of Mayor Rick's house. They find $200,000 cash stashed away inside his house.
Wow. So I'm assuming this isn't the first bribe.
This is a mayor of a small town. The mayor initially denies the charges, but then Shady pleads guilty and agrees to cooperate.
Can't trust a guy named. But what was he thinking? Trusting a guy named Shady?
Well, in for a dime, in for a dollar. He thought they would fight this thing together.
Shady's gonna hold up.
Yeah. And so as soon as Shady decided to cooperate, and remember, first one in the door often gets the deal. Mayor Rick waves the white flag and pleads guilty himself. So the court found that Mayor Rick received bribes from Awad, Shady, totaling $85,000. That's all the government could prove, right? They're finding like $200,000 like wrapped in towels in his house or whatever, but they can only, the government has the burden of proof. They can only prove that $85,000 worth of stuff went from Shady to Mayor Rick, okay, because the dollar amount could be significant. And so that's and both Mayor Rick and Shady plead guilty. And so what are you going to sentence these guys to?
What do you
Again, first guy in the door gets the deal. That's your big clue.
Yeah, well, I mean, Shady gets a deal,
Right.
obviously. So I don't feel like he gets. I feel like he probably gets 12 months, and the mayor probably gets 4 years. Let's say 4 years. Like
Okay.
12 months and 48 months.
Okay. Well, let me give you the good news. Shady got 1 year and 1 day.
Yes.
So you're right there. They do that, I think, because there's a tactical reason why sometimes they do 1 year and 1 day.
Yeah, you get if it's over 1 year, you get your gain time. So
Right.
he only has to do 8 months or 9
Bingo.
months.
But if it's so that Mayor Rick, you said 36 months.
No. Did I say 36? I said 40.
48. I
48.
think.
Okay, I'm sorry. He got 71 months in prison, so you're wrong either way. Indeed.
3 of 10.
Ooh.
And I have someone doing some research right now to find out the score for the entirety of the game show, all 10 game shows.
For all the episodes we've done.
Yes.
Wow,
So,
you're a lifetime like batting average.
yeah. So we should have that by the end.
Right. You and I had an opportunity with young Colby to have lunch today.
Yes.
Went to Five Guys, and your fans will be thrilled to hear that you paid for my lunch.
Yeah.
Right? So they seem very, very concerned about my financial stability in the comments section of the fact that you don't pay me anything.
Only because you mention it every time.
Did I? I don't know if I mentioned that or not. Of the episodes that I've been on, which one, this may be a Colby question, which one's doing the best? Which one has performed the best?
I want to say it is the airplane freakouts.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
do an airplane freakout story. Maybe we can capitalize on that magic and catapult this episode into great success. It was a clear day, Matt Cox. Southwest flight 3548 from Seattle to Sacramento. Not a very long flight at all. 20-year-old Madison almost missed the flight. She is hauling ass to get through the airport to make the flight. She gets there. She plops down in her seat. She's the last person aboard, way in the back. And the only seat open was a middle seat, right? Because that's how Southwest rolls. You don't get an assigned seat. And she's in the back between two dudes. Now, what she didn't know is that her seatmate on the aisle seat was 40-year-old Jeff Lorenzo of Winters, California. And he was very, very drunk. Okay. Let's jump back a little bit. Jeff was coming back from a work trip, and he was drunk before he even got to the airport that day. And he continued drinking with his buddies at the airport, downing beers and shots like it was his bachelor party or something. And at the bar inside the airport, he starts getting rowdy, and he starts like touching the faces of like of strangers in the bar. And they start spitting on the floor of the restaurant and using foul language, maybe even the F word at full volume, Matt Cox, right? Making a total nuisance of himself. When he went through the TSA checkpoint, probably before the bar, I don't know if the bar was on which side of security it was, he gets searched by TSA and he gets upset and starts yelling the N-word at the TSA person who searched him. And you know what N-word I'm talking about.
Yeah.
We're not going to say it, but you know what, it's a bad N-word.
So I'm surprised he got through
Of all the N-words, this is the worst. Okay, I would never say it. I get weird even saying N. So he's so wasted that you've flown Southwest, right? It's like group 1, group 2, everyone stands in line. He keeps trying to board. He's like group 6. Every group that comes up, he's like trying to stumble. Yeah. It's amazing. And so he finally gets bored. He goes, sits in the back, and while he's sitting next to young Madison in the middle, Southwest serves him 2 more alcoholic beverages. Their stock price needed some help. So poor Madison is trapped in the middle seat, and she could just smell the booze on Jeff. Mm-hmm. And then Jeff lifts the armrest between he and Madison, and he starts rubbing her.
God.
like stroking this like 20-year-old girl who's not into it. You'll be surprised to learn. And then he intentionally drops his phone very animatedly on the floor between her legs and buries his face in her crotch to recover his phone.
It's all bad.
No bueno. And then Madison is scared, super uncomfortable. Jeff reaches across to like tap the shoulder of the dude sitting in the window and begins like rubbing his forearm against her breasts. You know, through the clothing and all that, but just not cool. For 20 seconds in the courtroom.
What is this chick doing? What is she still doing? Just
She's like, going out of her. She's a kid. She's 20 years old. She's scared to death.
I would think she would
I get it.
yell or something.
I mean, okay, flight attendant call button. She hits it. The flight attendant comes, separates them and all that, calls it in. He gets arrested at the airport, right?
Sounds good.
FBI goes back, kind of retraces their steps. They want to, they look at the security footage, and we're this, and we're that. He's at the bar. He's drunk.
Drinking,
exactly. He's spitting on the floor. He's touching people's faces. Like they build the whole case up. He gets charged with assault aboard an aircraft, and he pleads guilty and says that he wants to get substance abuse treatment, which I think is probably a good idea. How much time is the judge going to give this fellow, Jeff Lorenzo of Winters, California?
36 months.
36 months in prison. 3 years for the horror show that this poor girl had to endure. And coupled with the bad behavior.
What was he charged with?
Assault aboard an aircraft.
I'm guessing less.
Really?
Remember those airplane episodes we did where those guys that were just doing all that weird stuff barely got anything? Remember?
I remember. Why are you looking at me? Oh, okay. Did you look something up?
I haven't looked anything up. Yeah.
He turns the laptop slowly, and
Exactly.
it's in big. It says 12 months. No, I think 36 months. I think then he'll be able to go to RDAP if he gets 36 months, and I think he'll get a year off. He'll do a year and a half. He'll be 9 months in RDAP, 9 months waiting to. I think.
So that would be a just outcome in your mind?
Yeah, I think 36 months seems reasonable. He's a douchebag. Yeah. But you know, they tend to give you a little leeway if you throw in, I was intoxicated, I was drunk, Your Honor, my father had just died. It was his birthday.
Yeah, they
come up some bullshit.
Or I got a drinking problem. Yeah. You're very sympathetic to people who have substance abuse issues when it comes to sentencing. So
I mean, maybe 48 months, but let's say whatever. Let's say 36, because I'm sure I'm wrong. I've been wrong all this whole time.
I wish you would have more confidence.
I don't, because I feel like you're tricking me.
I'm not tricking anything. I'm telling you a crime story, a riveting crime story, and you get to make your guesses. So you said 36 months. The correct answer is 30 days in prison.
Fucking cocksucker. What the fuck is that's some bullshit. I'm sure the 20-year-old felt. Now she's been violated a second time.
Oh.
30? Are you fucking so like?
Colby's right. These crimes aboard aircraft are the sentences are insanely low.
Fucking jerk offs.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, that's just some. Okay.
I know.
Why? That's the place to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what. We interviewed. I interviewed a skyjacker.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, I don't mean skyjacker like the story you told. I mean.
You're funny, Matt Cox. That's why you got a show.
I interviewed him. And they didn't give him any break. What did he plead?
He was like, he had multiple life sentences.
He had like life sentence, multiple. He eventually got him down. He still did like 40 years. Was he 30 something years?
I mean, he's 82 years old or something.
Yeah. He had like 40 years or something.
The heyday of skyjacking, huh?
Yeah. It was in 1971 is when he had done it. But yeah.
Are you comfortable with the audience knowing that you live in Wesley Chapel, Florida?
I guess so.
Or is that something we try to keep under our hats?
No, that's fine.
Okay. It's a sizable suburb. No, and I don't think anyone's going to show up at your house and do anything horrible to you. Wesley Chapel, big crime town?
I don't think so, but my wife told me the other day that she had said something like there was like a carjacking or something in Wesley Chapel, something like that. And she was like, "Can you believe?" She's like, "This place is going to hell." I thought it's one carjacking.
Yeah, I've been to your house like 9 times, and I thought Wesley Chapel looked really nice. I stayed in hotels there. We went to a comedy club there, right?
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was yeah, I think it's very nice. It's like
Yeah.
living in the I would say it's like living in the Truman Show.
I thought so
Super
too.
nice.
I thought so too. This crime takes place in Wesley Chapel. I know. There goes the neighborhood. The carjacking and then this. 59-year-old Ping Li was born in China.
That should be in the hook.
I didn't name him. And immigrated to the USA as a young man.
Do you think he insists that people say ping?
Ping!
Actually, so ping. No, it's not ping.
Ping!
Ping!
Ping Li was born in China and immigrated to the USA as a young man. He became a naturalized U.S. citizen. He's one of us.
Good for him.
And worked in cybersecurity for 20 years for Verizon while living in Wesley Chapel, Florida. Can you believe it?
I feel like this is some espionage or something, right? What do you really get from Verizon? But anyway.
Yeah. No, I mean, he's not working at the Verizon store. He's a cybersecurity guy. I'm probably working from home. I don't know if there's a Verizon like data center in Wesley Chapel or whatever. Who knows? Here's what's funny. He was contacted out of the blue by a friend he knew as a teenager back in China. Is that crazy? His friend was a spy now for China's Ministry of State Security, and he recruited Ping to be what they call a cooperative contact, secretly gathering intelligence for the Chinese as directed by his high school buddy. Is that crazy?
That's crazy.
Yeah. His handler, his buddy from high school back, from when they were 12 or whatever, asked him to gather information about Chinese dissidents, Chinese people here in the U.S. who don't like China and are very outspoken, and transmit that information back to China. China's really hung up on that, like the Falun Gong people and stuff like that, about people who are out here kind of opposing human rights abuses in China. They like keeping their finger on the pulse of that.
Yeah, don't they like kidnapping them too
Yeah,
and
it's
trying
like-
to get them back to China?
It's like a big deal. It's a preoccupation of
Yeah.
theirs. Yeah. More kind of interesting to me is that they also direct Ping to steal and provide information from Verizon pertaining to cybersecurity measures so the Chinese intelligence services can breach the firewalls established to keep our phone communications private. They wanted to be able to hack into Verizon phones, and Ping was more than happy to kind of give them the keys to make that happen.
Are they paying Ping? You don't just do this because you have a childhood friend. I don't even think it's his
that's what I
childhood
was-
Yeah,
friend.
they're
That's what
paying
I
him
was
something.
wondering.
They're paying him something. I don't have the dollar amount, actually.
I mean, even my childhood friend, like if Shane Snipes, who was a childhood friend of mine, showed up. First of all, we don't even know it is Shane. We don't even know. It could be some guy. I mean, it's not like he showed up at his house. He probably.
One thing I do know is that they don't pay, when we've discussed on the
They
show,
don't
they
pay
don't
a
pay
lot.
much. They don't pay much.
Yeah.
So I'm sure Ping is getting paid something. I don't have that information. It never came out in the case. So the FBI monitors communications between Chinese intelligence and U.S. citizens pretty regularly, right? It's
Something they do.
Yeah, it's so intrusive, and they become aware of Ping's clandestine activities. They begin monitoring Ping's communications further, and then finally arrest him for acting as an unregistered agent of the Chinese government. Like you said, espionage, right under your nose in Wesley Chapel. Right under your nose. You could have been behind this guy in line at the Publix.
I feel like we yank his citizenship, let him go back to China. He likes it so much.
Can't do that,
I
unfortunately.
know.
Yeah. But during his interrogation, Ping lied his ass off. It wasn't until the FBI agent showed him printed copies of encrypted emails that he had sent to his handlers that he broke down and confessed to the spying activities. They broke him. He said, and this is actually interesting, that the reason he did it is because he felt that if he did not cooperate, his mother back in China would be harmed.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I
I
can
mean-
see them using that.
Yeah, yeah. He pleads guilty, and at his sentencing, Ping says, I'm going to read the quote, but I'm not going to do it with an accent.
I loved your whatever. What was the weirdo? The
Oh yeah.
The accent would be a little ethnic, and I think that might get us both in trouble. He said, looking back now,
just said you weren't gonna do
I'm
it.
not doing a Chinese accent. I refuse to do a Chinese accent.
What is this accent?
It's very sophisticated. Maybe a Hong Kong. Looking back now, I realize how stupid and ignorant I was. I regret what I have done. I am deeply sorry to this country that I love. That's what Ping said.
Good for him.
How much time are you going to give Ping?
Oh God, what did these guys get? He didn't really give them anything, right?
He gave him. He was keeping an eye on Chinese dissidents. I don't know what that really entailed. I'm a little unclear how much of the Verizon cybersecurity stuff slipped. But here's what I do know is that Verizon was able to patch it back up, so if you're safe. I mean, you're no worse off with a Verizon phone than you were before Ping's venture into spying.
I don't know. 60 months?
60 months, 5 years is what you say
Yeah.
for betraying his country.
Stop. Yes, 60 months.
60 months for spying for the Chinese government is what you're saying.
He
just wanna
didn't
make sure we're on the
give
same
him
page.
anything. He didn't. What did he really have? He didn't. I mean,
He was a cybersecurity guy. This is like a Wesley Chapel thing, isn't it? You guys are. It's like an affinity thing. Like, huh? You Wesley Chapel guys stick together. 60 months is what you're staying with?
What if he still lives in Wesley Chapel?
That's
I
what I was
could look
gonna
him
say.
out. I
wonder
could
if
look
we
him
could-
up.
Or we could get him on the show.
Lee. Yeah, you can't deport him.
The AI overview says he was not paid by China.
Interesting. Okay. Thank you. I did
yeah.
not know that. But I know it wasn't in the court documents because I reviewed them, but I didn't know if that was being withheld.
I want to give him another 12 months for stupidity. I need something. I need to get something for this.
He did it because his high school buddy wanted him to,
No, he thought
and he
it's-
claimed that he felt his mother was in danger. Although I don't
You
know.
loved his mom so much. What'd you flee China for and come here?
A better life.
Right. I mean,
Hey.
mom's had a good life.
I get it. Listen, you're the one letting him off at 5 years.
5 years. I don't believe you.
All right. The correct answer is 4 years in prison, and so you're within 20%.
I am. That's 20%.
No, you're not.
Oh wait, no, that's 25%, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. 48
Yeah.
times 1.2 is under. So 48.
Wait, what do you mean? Wait. What is
The sentencing is
20% of 5 years?
No. You're misunderstanding. It keys off of the 4 years. So what is 1.2 times?
48 is 57.6.
Fucking bullshit.
Yeah,
bullshit.
But see, once we get this is what we're gonna do. Once we get the annual numbers, we're gonna adjust it. We're gonna adjust the meter for 2026.
Oh, I
Okay.
see. So Matt only has to get 1 out of 12.
Well, yeah.
This is hard.
Evidently.
Well, like I said, the top comment on the last episode was they want to see, for a special episode, the roles reversed. So with all these classic stories,
And
that
I'll know
Matt
everything
has-
about mine.
And Matt's gonna do show prep.
Oh, he doesn't have to.
I don't have to. I already
he's
know.
told these stories 20 times.
All right, fair
Yeah.
enough. Yeah, I'll play that game with you. I'll play any game you want. I love this show.
I could even do people we've interviewed because it's not like you watched the show. Unless you're on it.
We should warn the people that the next 3 stories are insanely depraved for various reasons. But if you are not into really dark and depraved crime, maybe it's time to say goodbye. Okay, I'm just warning people. This is like the trigger warning.
What's so funny is like on the analytics, you can tell when people watch more of an episode and less, and when they drop off. I have a feeling that they hit your comment right there, and it's going to shoot up, and then woo, they keep watching.
My conscience is clear. I don't want someone driving around in their car with their kid listening to this next 3 stories and coming at me or you in the comments. They've been warned.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You take your medicine. It's coming at you.
You had me at depraved.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You use AI much, like
Yes.
ChatGPT and stuff? What do you use it for?
I use it to write anything that I don't want to write. Like I'll just tell it, hey, write me a short, whatever. Anything I don't want to have to write a thank you note or I send Christmas cards. I send postcards, and I don't want to write the postcards. It writes up just silly stuff.
Yeah.
AI documentaries coming soon.
Yeah.
You'll see.
Yeah, those look sharp. I've seen some of the kind of prototypes of those that you're doing. Those are sharp. The sort of recreation videos that you're doing, where you take a story and then you kind of animate it with AI people doing stuff.
Have you?
You've seen the shorts.
You've seen the
yeah,
shorts? Yeah. Well, yeah, we're going to be
You
doing
do
it
some
with
long form stuff.
Oh, we're doing it with like a whole episode.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That will be cool. All right, so we got 47-year-old Jerome Weber of Topeka, Kansas. You ever been to Topeka? I've been to Topeka.
Have you?
Not my thing. I mean, it's fine. Nice people.
Yeah.
Big people. Big bones.
A lot of SNAP benefits.
Yeah, Jeremy Weber, he took photos of children that he knew. I don't know how he knew them, but let's say he had access to pictures of kids from Facebook or whatever, kids that he knew. And he uploads these pictures to an AI photo editor program on the internet. Then he also uploads naked pictures of kids being abused. We can be kind of obtuse about this so we don't get banned, that he had previously downloaded from the internet. And he wants them to do a face merge. So the dirty pictures of the kids being abused has now the head and faces of children that he knows personally. He's creating his own bespoke adult content with exploited children.
Yeah.
Right? Children who were never exploited, but now there's a picture of, I don't know if his niece, his next door neighbor, his kid's friend or whatever being exploited.
Okay.
Not weird kink, but using AI.
I wonder if he's doing it because he feels like that's getting around breaking the law or something like this,
don't know.
or just maybe it's because he's got a weird fascination with these kids that he knows, and he's trying like this. Just
He's got this sick hobby, right?
Yeah.
For whatever reason, and he keeps it kind of secret. But he's got one of these remote jobs where he works from home on his computer. And the IT guy, who's also remote, has to remote into his computer to install some software or whatever. And then he sees a folder there, and the folder was called AI Swap. The IT guy for the company that he works for kind of double clicks on that. There's a bunch of subfolders with people's names. He double clicks on those and sees these pictures.
right.
He tells the company's HR department or whatever, who contact the FBI, and the FBI comes in and does a search warrant. They find the they do the search warrant. They get the computer. They see this. How many pictures were there? There was a lot. 60 photos they find that of little children being abused in pictures of kids who were not truly being abused because they were the faces of other kids.
Right.
So basically an AI child exploitation case. He pleads guilty to possession and transportation of child sex abuse materials. And at his sentencing, the prosecutor made the point that Jeremy's actions should remind us that we are all vulnerable to this type of violation. And although the images were fake, the violation he inflicted upon the victims was very real. That was the prosecutor's speech at the sentencing. How much time do you give a weirdo like Jeremy?
So he just kept the pictures. He wasn't extorting anybody. He didn't send them anywhere.
I think he was enjoying them for his own pleasure. This was his thing.
I want to say 36 months. I think the mandatory minimum for photos, and if he pled guilty, they probably dropped it down to like one count, even though you're saying it's 60 of them.
60 pictures.
Yeah, they probably dropped it down to one count, and he pled guilty.
Okay.
So
I'm going to help you out here because you're doing so poorly.
Okay.
Remember, he is actually downloading pictures of child abuse materials to create these bespoke pictures.
Okay.
Right? So I think you and I, when I first heard the story, you're getting hung up on the idea that, well, no one was really harmed, the pictures are fake, but he's actually doing just what everyone else does who downloads child exploitation materials and is caught with them on their computers.
Yeah, which is like just possession, right?
Right. I don't see anything in here about
That's why
him.
I was thinking possession.
I have no information that he shared these things anywhere. That was not part of the case. No, well, he was charged with possession and transportation of child abuse materials, but the transportation may have simply been the
Yeah, yeah.
downloading of it in from some server out there in the internet into his home. I have no information that he was going on the web and trading it. That was not part of any of the court documents that I reviewed in this case.
I feel like, okay, let's say, I mean, I guess I'm going to add some time because I feel like possession, like a lot of these guys that with the possession, they get like 3 years. It's kind of like a mandatory, like a minimum mandatory, which is like, oh, you have possession. And then these guys would end up going to prison. They get like 3 years, which is always ridiculous to me. But they, there was a big difference between that and somebody who accidentally physically got their hands on a kid. 20 years.
Oh, for sure. Let's agree with
20,
that. That like whatever he's doing is not as bad as him actually grabbing a child and abusing them personally. But what do you think of the prosecutor's argument, though, that he truly is victimizing these 60 children or however many kids there were, the real life kids whose faces are now exist out there in the universe on child exploitation materials?
Well, I thought that he was just keeping them on his computer, so I don't really feel like they went anywhere.
We don't know, but still, you're a parent. I'm a parent.
Yeah.
I would be very disturbed if there was a dude out there making child materials with my kid's face on it, whether he's shooting it out at a football game with a t-shirt gun or enjoying it for his own jerk-off sessions.
Right. Well, I mean, I hear what you're saying, but I mean, I think there's two different things. Like if I, as a parent, if I found that out, like I'd have him publicly executed.
Yeah.
But
that's not the judge or the prosecutor's job.
I'm thinking about these guys that were in prison with me, and they'd have 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and you would always be like, "Fuck!" Like this guy had like, and they would have like movies, videos, like they're weirdos.
Oh sure.
And I mean, I knew there was a guy at Coleman who was a public school. Well, there were several teachers.
Yeah.
But this was a guy who was he was a principal of a school, and did he get like 4 or 5? But one, he was, and I don't know if you've ever heard this one. There was a guy who had been doing things to his own daughter since the age of like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
And this has been going on for 5 or 6 years. She's like 12 or 13. I could be getting the numbers are wrong, but it was an outrageous amount of time.
Yeah.
And there were guys that were paying like $300 a month as a subscriber of a channel. And eventually one of these guys gets caught and cooperates and explains, like he gets caught for something else. And then he says, "Listen, I got something for you. I'm subscribed to a channel. I don't know how many other people, but this guy is doing this." And as a result of that, and they busted like, we're talking about like 60 or 80 guys that are all paying $300 a month. And this has been going on for years.
Wow.
You could look it up. I mean, I'm pretty sure, I want to say it was this kid was young. And it wasn't like 6 months. This went on for years.
This is his own flesh and blood daughter.
Absolutely. Well, I'm pretty sure it was, yeah.
Yeah.
Horrific.
Yeah.
And so multiple guys are coming in.
How much time did that guy get?
They didn't get any time. They got 5 years, 6 years, like that. And you're just like, and this is a school teacher. That's why I'm thinking. So I'm going to say 5 years.
This is the first AI case that I've ever heard of.
Right.
But stay tuned. I mean, this is going to be the future, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's your guess then? Let's lock you in on this.
Well, I'm going to say the other thing is, what they're doing too now. They'll take an 18-year-old that looks young, and then they'll make them look younger and come up with a photo. So now you think it's a 12-year-old girl. It's really an 18-year-old.
I know.
But the guys think, oh, what I'm doing. Yeah, but I'm not breaking the law. It doesn't. You know what the actual law says? Any image of like, it doesn't matter if it looks that way.
You bring in a pediatrician and say this is the body of a 12-year-old as your expert witness.
Yeah, that's it. You're done.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you can explain. No, she was 18. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And first of all, and explain that in front of a jury. If I was on the jury, I'd be like, I don't give a shit, you fucking sicko. I don't want you living in my neighborhood.
Bingo. Exactly.
Okay.
But yeah,
let's say 5 years.
5 years. All right, man. Well, I don't want to belabor this because I find this topic so unsettling, but I do think it's interesting from a technological discussion like we've been having. He got 25 years in prison.
Holy shit. Did I tell you? Remember the German? I told you about the German guy?
Which German
who got
guy?
20 years?
Okay, yeah.
Did I tell you about this guy? This is a German who's in Germany.
Oh, yeah. You told me about that.
Yeah.
And he like fought it.
Got on a plane and flew here. He got 20 years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and this guy didn't. Took some pictures. Ooh, boy. I feel like, and he
25
pled
years.
guilty to that?
Yeah.
Might as well go to trial.
Yeah, really, at that point, why not? I mean,
Yeah.
I was explaining to our mutual friend today, whose show I did, Bubba the Love Sponge, that the plea bargains don't have a sentence attached to it. The judge always gets to make the sentence. The government will just say, "Well, I'm recommending that he go by the guidelines." But with the guidelines and stuff like this, there's just a lot of latitude that the judges have.
Well, and the judge can. It's what is it? It's kind of like extenuating circumstance. I forget what they call it, but relevant conduct or something like that, where they're like,
I think that the 60 kids, if it was 60, whose faces were now attached to these images.
Right.
That's probably what drove the judge.
Oh, I'm sure.
That we have 60 victims here, whether they were abused or not. Now, this is the abuse of them, the creation of these photos.
Yeah. The guy, I was going to say, he probably walked in there thinking, his pre-sentence report may have said 5 years. It may have said 3 years. He walked in 3, and the judge is out there, and the U.S. attorney probably made a passionate argument and
if I'm the agent, I get at least 5 or 6 of those parents there who knew him to come and testify about how violated they feel.
And then
in their victim impact statements,
So
judge says 25 years.
So so let's say like the criminal is pleading guilty. He's like on his pre-sentence, he's pleading guilty to what he thinks. Like he thinks he's going in there for a 5-year sentence, and then the judge can just be like 25.
But yes, that's exactly right. But they make it very. And they explain this over and over again. Look, we're like they don't say this is what they say this is what we're going to recommend, but they have you sign paperwork that says, but the judge can do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Like they're supposed to kind of here's what happens. If they stay within the range, they have a range. Like they're like, we're going to suggest that you get the low end of the guideline. And the guidelines say that you're supposed to do the low end is 36 months. The high end of that range might be 51. So between 36 and 51 months. So your lawyer, your public defender is going to say, listen, we know he can't really go above 51 months. And so you're within the range. So either one of those should be okay, but they're going to recommend 36 months. Okay, fine. So you go in, the parents talk, the U.S. attorney talks, the judge looks at it, and the judge says 25 years. And as a defendant, you're like, what do you go to your lawyer and say, what are you talking about? You said I couldn't go above 51 months. And they're like, he's not supposed to be able to do that. He's not supposed to. He can do whatever he wants. But what all that does is by going above the range, it now gives the defendant the right to appeal.
It does. Yeah.
So he can now appeal it.
Mm-hmm.
But they've sort of defanged a lot of that, though, when the Supreme Court came back down and said that the sentencing guidelines are now advisory.
Correct. But he'll still have an option to appeal it, and he can make that impassionate argument that, Your Honor, I would have never pled guilty. And maybe at some point they start negotiating, because now it becomes kind of procedural. It becomes it starts to be fought in the court, right? And you're not really going in front of the judge. It's more like they're fighting. And maybe at some point he agrees to take 15 years because he starts to get scared and realize I may do 25 years. Or more likely, he appeals it and the appellate court says, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Why? Because you're a weirdo,
right?
And we really don't care, and we don't want you to come back in the community, and we don't care.
This is not a guy you want to go to the mat for,
right? And then he appeals that, and then he eventually tries to go to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court says, "Yeah, we're not going to hear your case," and you're just done. And I mean, you're done, and you're like, okay. Then you file a 2255, and then you start down that process. And once again, they're like, "Yeah, I don't care." Like these guys who fight their cases, that have these types of crimes, like they. Not that they deserve a break, but in the court they never get a break. They just smack them down.
Do you feel like it just gives them something to live for in prison to occupy their time?
Well, I've said this before. Hope is what gets you through.
Yeah.
And you want to know what's so funny about that? Listen to this. I heard this. This is going on TikTok right now.
Yeah.
You probably heard this before, but when I heard it, I was just like blown away. And I'm probably going to get the numbers wrong.
Okay.
But there was an experiment where they took like 100 mice. Have you ever heard this?
Mm-mm.
And they would put the mice in a glass of water, and it would swim and try and stay up.
Like doggy paddling and treading water.
Treading water, right. So they're treading water. On average, I think the average that the mice would tread water was like 30 minutes, and then they drown.
Mm-hmm.
So then they took 100 mice, probably not 100, probably 50, but whatever. It was a lot. It was an experiment. They're mice. They're cheap. So they're just before, and they knew from doing the 100, they now know that on average, almost all these things fucking drowned at 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. So just as they were about to drown, they would take them out of the water.
Okay.
Let them recuperate a couple days late. So a couple days later, they would take the mice and stick them back in the water.
I see what they're doing.
How long do you think afterwards, how long do you think that they could tread
They're
water?
acclimating them to the idea that you keep swimming because eventually the hand of God is going to come and pull you out and save your life. Hope. Right. So I have no idea what the order of magnitude is, but I bet it's substantial.
It's fucking amazing. It was like 26 hours or something. It was like so over. You could probably check. It's probably, but it's not like 2 hours. It was outrageously long. It was like, even thinking about that experiment disturbs me. It makes me feel sick and a little sick. But I was just like the idea of, and I used to always say hope is what gets you through. Like, and guys would, because Pete would always say, hope isn't a strategy, and I was like, yeah, but hope will get you through it. Yeah, and that's really Are you looking it up? Mm-hmm. How long was it?
In the second trial, I'm trying to find out how quickly they drowned the first time. Record how long they swam. The result. Second trial. In some cases, it says, so the results for the first trial, some rats swam for days, others gave up quickly.
Wow.
But
that's not what I heard.
The second one, they swam much longer, in some cases for up to 60 hours. Wow. So that's over 2 days.
So the ones I've heard on TikTok, which is accurate always, it was like 30, like around 30 minutes. Or,
and here's a video that's playing right now.
I don't need to see pictures of.
No, they don't show.
Well, it says after 15 minutes. It's showing after 15 minutes they pass. So.
They pass
away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So I've heard different videos because once I saw it once, I was like, what the fuck? So I looked up a few of them, and I felt like on average it was like 30 minutes, and then the next one was like 26 hours. Like, that's insane. Like, but that's hope. That will. Yeah. That how do people with these terminal illnesses and that are constantly in pain survive? I mean, I think they keep thinking there'll be a medication. This drug will help. That drug will help. It's that hope that gets them through. And I think that's what happens with any inmate that goes to prison, is that a lot of them will file paperwork in the hope that something will get through and will release them.
Little lottery tickets.
Right. Instead of kicking back and saying, yeah, I'll do my 45 years. Yeah. They're like, no, I can't.
All right. Interesting. So you grew up a Catholic kid, right? Just like I did. You ever go to religious retreats when you were a Catholic kid? Where you go and like sleep away for a few days?
If you sleep hot at night, you know how disruptive that can be. Whether you're having trouble falling asleep, you're waking up sweating in the middle of the night, or all of the above, that's where GhostBed can help. As the makers of the coolest beds in the world, GhostBed is your go-to for cooling mattresses, cooling pillows, and cooling bedding. From their signature Ghost Ice fabric to patented technology that adjusts to your body's temperature, every Ghost Bed mattress is designed with cooling in mind. So whether you want a plusher mattress that cushions your shoulders and hips, or a firm option with exceptional support, your Ghost Bed will keep you cool and comfortable all night long. When you purchase a Ghost Bed mattress, your comfort is guaranteed. You can try out your mattress for 101 nights, risk-free, to make sure it's the right fit for you. Plus, they offer free shipping, and most items are shipped within 24 hours. If you're not sure which Ghost Bed is right for you, check out their mattress quiz. You'll answer a few questions and get a personalized recommendation. Just visit ghostbed.com/Cox and use code Cox at the checkout.
And there's a
yes.
Yeah. Your parents must have been pretty happy that was your thing, and you were going away to a religious retreat and not like hanging out in the streets with switchblades and stuff like that, right?
I don't know if they were. It wasn't like I was hanging out. I was forced to go.
Oh yeah, the tip of a sword. It was their idea. Yeah. You were begging to go.
Mom, I can't wait. When can I go to CCD again? That's what they call it, CCD.
Yeah.
And no, it was more like you're going to CCD.
Got it. Well, let's go to Dilley, Texas. Dilley, Texas. Doesn't that sound like a nice town? 15-year-old Sarah, her mom was thrilled when Sarah told mom that she had been chosen to go to an all-inclusive Christian youth retreat in Florida. Wow. Mom's like, what luck? We're not wealthy people, but this is all inclusive? Yeah, all inclusive, Mom. It's a retreat. And this was going to be Sarah's first airplane ride. And so she had a friend drive her to the airport.
I feel like this is a lot of firsts for Sarah.
Yeah, it's a big deal. It's 15-year-old Sarah from Dilley, Texas. She had a friend drive her to the airport for this flight to Fort Myers, Florida. And what Sarah's mom did not know, Matt Cox, here's a twist, is that there was no Christian retreat. Sarah was actually going to a vacation rental in Fort Myers, Florida, to meet up with a guy, 42-year-old Vinny Robusto.
How does this even? Is the girl in on it? Like I thought you were going to say that the CCD, the church
They had
teacher.
Met on, There's no religious retreat at all. Vinny Robusto meets this girl. 42-year-old Vinny Robusto meets 15-year-old Sarah
online
on Snapchat. Yeah, and they begin engaging in a long-distance sexual relationship online. He lives in Decatur, Georgia. So this is going to be a vacation for both of them. He goes on whatever, Airbnb, VRBO, whatever. He gets a vacation rental in Fort Myers for them to spend quality time. And they bake this scheme up where you're going to tell your mom you're going to a religious retreat. And she's going to be so thrilled. And it's all inclusive. So mom doesn't even, in fact, don't even have mom drive you to the airport. Have your friend do it. And so so Vinny paid for her plane ticket. Right? Called her up and, got all the information and all that. First time riding a plane. And 6 days into the retreat, Sarah's mom was having trouble reaching Sarah. What's going on, Sarah? You'd think you would reach out for me. She starts getting that feeling in her chest that maybe something's not right. And so Sarah's mom checks her parental tracking app. A lot of us parents have an app on our kids' phones to see where they are. Life 360 is a good one. And they see that she's at a house in Florida, in Fort Myers, Florida, and not at like a religious retreat building. Something's wrong. So mom calls the local police in Dilley, Texas, who calls the police in Florida, who goes to the vacation house to check it out, see what's going on here. And they see Vinny's car sitting in the driveway with North Carolina plates. They run his criminal history, and they see that Vinny has a long rap sheet. Vinny's no angel. For theft, weapons charges, assault, aggravated battery. Vinny's not a good dude. Cops knock on the door. Vinny refuses to answer. The police are able to find Vinny's phone number, and they call him on the cell phone. Vinny's like, hello? And they're like, Vinny, open the door. We're outside at the police. And so they go in the house, and they start looking around for Sarah. He's like, Sarah who? The police find Sarah in the house, of course. And Sarah's story is that when the cops first knocked, she had been trying to open the door, and Vinny restrained her and ordered her to stay quiet. You be quiet, Sarah, Vinny said. And then she tells the police separate her and they interview her, and she goes, I arrived in Florida. We get to the house. Vinny gives me a vape pen and tells me to smoke. Then things start getting really hazy, and I'm kind of like out of my mind. And Vinny had intercourse with me, and several times over the past 6 days. And so the police administer a kit. You know what kind of kit I'm talking about, to confirm that she had been assaulted by Vinny in that way. And they search the vacation rental, and they find that Vinny has a loaded 9mm pistol, which is a no-no because he's a convicted felon. And they placed Vinny under arrest. Because of the interstate nature of the case, the police, who did a great job, loop in the FBI to kind of nail down all the digital evidence that kind of created the situation. The FBI is real good at that. The police less so. And bring federal charges against him. Victim specialist from the FBI gets Sarah home to her mom. Hopefully she's getting the help she needs. Terrible situation. Vinny takes the case to trial, with charges of interstate transportation of a minor for sexual activity and being a felon in possession of a firearm. His defense at trial, and this is interesting, you can almost think this through because I know you're a traveling man, is that I had no idea this girl was 15. I had no idea. How do you prove that he knew that she was 15?
I mean, for one thing, he's got to book the ticket and pay for the ticket.
Bingo. No, right. Talk it through.
Yeah. So he
And
has to
now
get
you have to.
get her driver's license or ID.
No, you have to give her date of birth now.
Well, I know, but on the ID and everything, that's one of the things. Full name, date of birth, what her address is.
Right, right. So that's how they prove it.
Yeah.
That's how Vinny's entire defense falls apart to the jury, is the fact that he booked the ticket, and you need a date of birth of someone to book a ticket these days. It wasn't always that way. 5 years ago, it wasn't that. Now,
really?
Yeah, this is new. The date of birth thing is a new thing. Jury comes back guilty on all counts. How much time you gonna give old Vinny, Mr. Romeo, in federal prison, Matt Cox?
I think he gets 20 years. Again,
This is felon in possession of a firearm and the, what is it, Hatch Act or no Hobbs Act, whatever. No, not Hobbs. What's the transportation of kids called? Whatever it is. Mann Act. MANN.
Oh, I didn't even know about any act is.
That's when you bring a girl across state lines, a minor, for some sex nonsense.
25 years. 25 years.
I'm not trying to talk you into it. It's wanting you to like think of both of those crimes, and the fact that he went to trial and lost.
45 years.
Yeah, I mean,
whatever. Let's say, 30 years. 30 years. 30. I'm going to go with 30 years. 30 years.
You're sticking with 30 years in prison? 30 years.
You think it's too much?
I don't think. I mean, listen, I'm not a big fan of 42-year-old Vinny Robusto. I'm going to go on a limb and say he's not a good man.
Well, what bothers me is that these
Talk to me
guys.
about your thought process.
These guys in federal prison that are there for like possession would get, 4 or 5 years, right? Mm-hmm. And then some guy in the state who had kidnapped some, 14-year-old and, did horrific things to her, and she manages to get away. Yeah. These guys would end up getting, this 5 years in probation, or some guy who's talking to some girl and meets her at a McDonald's because he's clearly going to do something. He shows up and he's got KY jelly, restraints.
I've worked those cases.
Photograph, like horrific, right? Like you know what's going to go down. That guy ends up getting, he'll end up getting like probation, like the To Catch a Predator. Like these guys show up and they do it, and they get like a year in jail and like 5 years probation. You're like, okay, buddy, if he had 3 photographs of the girl naked, he gets 5 years.
Right, but I think that's why the police understand that disparity, which is why I think they really like looping the FBI into these cases to where there's actual teeth behind the sentencing.
But that's also why. So I'm thinking to myself, but this isn't that. This is the federal system, and they're a little less unforgiving.
Yeah.
So I'd say this is.
So where do we wind on this?
I'm going to go 30 years because he went to trial, and but if it got 45, I wouldn't be shocked. But let's say 30.
30? Well, you did good. He got 33 years.
Oh, nice.
I think you and I can agree that there's a lot of good that happens on the internet. True crime podcasts.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yes.
Friends who meet via the internet and all that. It's able to catapult people who want to be in media, who don't need to don't play the game and stuff like that. But you can kind of raise your own pirate ship flag and have something like this happening. The internet's, I think, on balance, a good thing. But the internet has very dark corners of people who are doing depraved and horrible things on the internet. You ever heard of the phenomenon of animal crush videos?
No.
It's as bad as it sounds. It's like
oh gosh. Oh, okay. Oh no. This does sound bad. This sounds like Don't Fuck with Cats.
Kind of, yeah. Like
horrible.
Basically crushing animals under your boot and filming it and then trading those videos and engaging in those videos. It's a terrible, terrible, like...
What's wrong with people?
People are terrible. People are terrible. And in 2010, the U.S. Congress made the creation of animal crush videos a federal crime. And President Obama signed that into law. And so it's an actual federal crime now to be involved in animal crush videos. Rod Bedra, maybe it's Bedra, B-E-D-R-A, was a technology teacher at Lyndon McKinley High School in Columbus, Ohio. And he had a secret life that his family, his friends, his students, and his administrators did not know existed. He was a moderator on a secret online group of men on Telegram, where all roads lead to if you're interested in online crime. Telegram as a texting app is benign, but the groups on Telegram are just disgusting. Just disgusting people, disgusting things. But there was a group called A Million Tears on Telegram that all these men got into, where they got off on sharing and viewing videos of baby monkeys being dismembered and sexually abused by humans. I know. I'm with you, Ben.
Okay.
There's so depraved. Ron took it one step further. He contacted poor people in Indonesia and paid them to physically abuse baby monkeys and film it, and then send those films to him so he could trade with other guys in this Telegram community. Right? He's commissioning the torture of baby monkeys. I'm disgusted by this. You're disgusted by this. Any right-thinking person's disgusted by this. You don't need me to give you the details of the videos. I mean, it's terrible. Okay, the court records are just absolute shocking to anybody. I mean, he did things to baby monkeys. These guys did things to baby monkeys with like hot screwdrivers that no creature should ever have to endure, right? The worst. Production and distribution of these Animal Crush videos, this falls under that, is a federal crime. And Ron finds himself the subject of a joint investigation. Something slips out there in the world by FBI and U.S. Fish and Wildlife, another federal agency.
Okay.
For trading 64 monkey torture videos that he personally commissioned, right? He never harmed a monkey.
Right.
Right, but he's basically commissioning it. The Indonesians are doing it. He's wiring the money to the Indonesians, and he's trading these videos. 64 monkey torture videos that would not have existed in the universe had he not subsidized them. He gets charged with this Animal Crush video statute from 2010, loses his job as a school teacher.
Did you say he was a school teacher before?
Yeah, I'm sorry. He's a technology teacher at Lyndon McKinley High School in Columbus, Ohio.
Okay.
Loses his job as a school teacher. His wife also divorces him, says, I had no idea this is your thing I thought you were playing World of Warcraft or something like that. Leaves his ass. He pleads guilty, like I said. What kind of sentence he going to give this guy?
Did you meet anybody with a similar crime?
No.
Yeah.
What did Michael Vick get?
I mean, not long. I feel like 5 years and under. I mean, he went back and played in the NFL, so it wasn't that long.
10 years? What do you give this guy? 120?
Your guess is 120 months in prison?
He probably didn't get anywhere near that.
And what do you think it is then, pal?
I think it's 84 months.
84 months.
Yeah.
Well, to not belabor this, because I hate this story.
Okay.
I don't know why I brought it, but I hate it. He got 54 months in prison and then 3 years of supervised release after that. Sorry to end on such a downer.
Yeah.
Well,
it's too bad he doesn't have to register as a you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
I think like every animal shelter should have a picture of him up in it, kind of a do not fly list if he ever wants to adopt a pet. I know you just adopted a puppy.
Oh man. If anybody hurt my puppy,
I know. It's the thing.
I can't imagine wanting to hurt anything like that.
A baby monkey. What's cuter than a baby monkey? It's just like, what happens to someone as a child that becomes your thing, your kink? Like, what wires get crossed in the human mind that you can even? And then again, thank you, Telegram, for giving us a community of like-minded people who want this type of content.
Mm-hmm.
In the old days, you had something weird going on. Usually, you kept it to yourself. You didn't have like a group of pals.
Yeah.
Weird, huh?
Yeah, which is all just supportive of one another, so it just eggs you on.
It's like an
You
amplifier.
Become emboldened
When
by
it normalizes it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe if this was your thing, you would at least feel shame about it. But now you got buddies who you can like have this thing with, like a poker group. Forget about it. So, how did our host do?
so he lost.
Shocking.
4
Shocking.
of 15.
Ooh.
So for the year, we had a total of 7 episodes where we kept score.
Okay.
Yeah. So what do you think? What do you think your record is? out of
Wait,
7
we've only done this 7 times.
Well,
Well, remember
the
my
first
first few
couple-
episodes, I was telling my fantastic life story and telling stories from my career, but we were never playing this game. And then I
Okay.
said my tearful goodbye to you, saying, "Matt, I've kind of shot my wad. I don't really have any stories from cases that I worked, unless you wanted to hear the same type of embezzlement story and the same kind of Ponzi scheme story again and again and again." And then we thought, well, hell, I tell these crime stories. Why don't I come in and we'll just tell crime stories from the FBI and we'll kind of riff on it. And then that evolved quite organically into the game show format where you're guessing the sentence and Colby's keeping score. So it sounds like 7 episodes seems about right.
How do you remember all this? How do I have Alzheimer's at my age and you're perfectly
Well, you
sharp
do this
as a fucking
you
tack?
do this every day with your wildly famous show. For me, it's a very big deal to get to come on your internet television show.
Well, what is it? Out of the 7, how many?
Out of the 7, Matt has won 4.
4
and
out of
lost
7?
3. Yeah.
Is that 7
you're
include this one?
Yes, you're 4 and 3, which I was surprised.
Oh, I'm actually very surprised.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
includes that time I was able to cheat because I saw it on the thing.
Yeah, so
Which
you
is I'm okay
started
with.
off
Still winner.
3-0, then you lost, 1, lost, and lost. And we have one final story for the year that will be coming out just before Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe it'll be all tied up by the end of the year.
I have a Christmas tale for you that we'll tell on a special standalone Christmas episode of Inside True Crime with Matthew Cox. Once again, I just want to thank you for having me on. It means the world to me. And I do get people calling me saying that they saw me on the Matt Cox show, and that always warms my cockles that people are out there, finding me here. And I just want to let anyone who's watching know that if you ever are inclined to need a private investigator or know someone who does, I'll always make time for your referrals. I'll do free consultations on the phone, won't charge you a penny. Any friend of the Matt Cox show is a friend of mine, and I'd be happy to talk to you about that. If you're not already following me on social media myself, not to steal Matt's thunder, but I have a social media channel on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and it's at Simon Investigations. And lastly, if you are part of a group, organization, or company that brings in outside speakers, if you can connect me with that person and we can have a discussion about bringing me in to talk. I have a presentation that people really like on using FBI behavioral science techniques to increase sales in your organization and make your managers better managers, as well as how to protect yourself from fraud, and a presentation for investigative groups on how to conduct better financial crime investigations. So once again, Matt, just want to thank you for having me on, and be cool, man. Have a great Christmas.
Nice. Okay. Hey, you guys, I appreciate you watching. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell so you get notified of videos like this. Also, if you want to contact Tom, we are going to leave the link to all of his social media accounts in the description box. And so you can go there, you can subscribe, you can follow, and you can contact him. Also, if you're interested in being a guest on the show, you can go to our website, which we'll also leave in the description box. And you can go there, go to the guest page, fill out a very brief application, and leave a 3 to 5 minute video about your story. And we'll get back with you as quickly as possible. Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys watching. See ya.
Have a great day and be cool.